but let's go back to Professor William Prepra to speak to us more about the issue in relation to the currency, predicting that the Cedi will trade around 15 cedis 5 pesos to the dollar by April this year. And we've got to make sense out of that. Thankfully, it's joined us via Zoom to help us appreciate that. Thanks so much, sir. And sorry, we sincerely apologize for that technical hitch. I'm pretty sure you were making a point as to why we will see Cedi trading between 15 cedis to 5 pesos before April.
It's based on demand and supply. Any increase or decrease will have a factor or shift in the equilibrium of the price. There are also other functional factors that affect currency pricing. If you compare a home currency like a Ghana Cedi to any foreign currency like the United States dollar, euro, or pound, or let's name any currency. These functional factors includes a change in the differentials of inflation, a change in the differentials of interest rate, a change in the differentials of the income between the two countries, a change in government policies or government controls, and also future expectations of the change. So just looking at what has happened in Ghana in a short while from January to date, and looking at our budget, the decline of the Ghana Cedi against some international currencies, particularly the US dollar, it can be attributed to several factors that I mentioned earlier on. One of the key factors is based on investors' expectations regarding Ghana's competitiveness in some of the main commodities, namely cocoa or oil. So I'm going to give you an example of what investors are looking at. The first one is the oil. In the oil, we projected that 2024 we are going to produce 500,000 barrels a day. We have not been able to achieve that. We are doing about 130,000 barrels a day, which means that expected inflows or foreign currency inflows has declined or is going to decline. Also, for cocoa, 2023-2024 season, we projected around 850,000, reported by Reuters, is going to be declined by 40%, coming to around 328,000, which means that also expected inflows coming in is also going to decline. Recently, we also noticed that there's a deterioration in electricity supply in the country. And also another major factor which is going to affect production in the country and hence exports, also going to affect money coming into the country. Then the fourth factor is that government also failed to use government controls to put in place the restrictions on importation, which means that we are going to demand more. So putting all these factors together, it gives the expectation that our currency is going to weaken. But there are theories or formulas that we use to do forwarding in terms of projecting currencies. And when you look at our Cedi against the US dollar and then the euro, we could see that there are some disparities in the pricing, which is helping arbitrage to profit. So for the Cedi for this arbitrage situation to stop, the Ghana Cedi must depreciate or devalue to 15.5 Ghana Cedi to prevent this arbitrage. So that is why this projection is being made that this must happen until April, and also all the factors that I've mentioned pointing to a decline in expected foreign cash flow into the country.
And having enumerated the factors you highlighted, I guess there are some who believe that, well, it's temporal and that after negotiations have gone okay or gone through with the commercial creditors, all things being equal, we should see the Cedi normalize and stabilize in the coming days.
So normally when things are happening, the government can intervene. And when I say the government, through the Bank of Ghana, and they may have to come out with policies that will help the currency to strengthened. One of them that I mentioned is the restriction on importation that the government tried to do, but which failed. It is a measure to ensure that we reduce importation, but it must be done carefully, and government must negotiate. Also, with the discussion ongoing with our external creditors, it is not going to bring in foreign currency. It is rather going to help us to slow down the rate of or the amount of money we move from our country to pay these creditors, which is going to affect our capital outflows. And it's not going to immediately bring in ensure equilibrium. What really we need as a country is to help to boost our exports. And these major comparative commodities, advantage commodities we have, are seeing a decline. And that is where the government must be able to work on to ensure that whatever is causing this decline in these two major commodities, we are able to achieve them. So I've mentioned the oil. We need to produce 500,000 barrels a day. We are not. Cocoa production is being reduced, projected by 40%. The government must really ensure that we try to increase exports. If we are able to increase our exports, in effect, we will see that the price, we will see some stability in our exchange rate situation. Let me make a point that
A quick one, if you can do that for me.
It doesn't matter how much money or cash we receive from IMF. If we are not positioning ourselves well in increasing our exports, the IMF money or whatever grants or the 150 million they are talking about in Parliament will come in, but the demand of foreign currency in Ghana is so high that this money will finish within the shortest possible time. So, for example, let's look at our demand for oil production. Crude oil in terms of diesel, petrol, and the rest. The foreign demand is so high that even the central bank cannot meet the currencies to be able to purchase them. So these are some of the factors. We should find a way to slow down our importation and also increase our exports. And government may some policies that will help to bring this kind of equilibrium we need.
All right. Thank you very much, Professor Williams Prepara. We are indeed grateful for your time speaking to us on the marketplace on the back of that prediction you're making on the local currency.